What's up, everybody? Charlie Marlow here. The season now over for the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright's career now over. You got to sit back here. I got to reflect on the career and legacy of one Adam Wainwright. He obviously deserves it. Everything he did for the organization, for the city, philanthropically, and all that. First of all, it's always kind of weird. So Adam Wainwright is the same high school year as me, class of 2000. So I'm 41. Wayno has already turned 42. And it kind of makes me think because, first of all, it's weird to think that I'm 41 because I remember when my dad was 40, 41, and me thinking that was really old. And now that I'm 41, I don't think it's old at all. But I always remembered back in the day that my dad really liked the quote unquote older players, the guys that were his age. So if he was 40, 41, 42, if somebody was still kicking it around, baseball, basketball, whatever it was, he always liked the old guys. And so I just think about that. And it's kind of funny because even though I feel like I'm young, not a baseball player, but young in life as a 41-year-old, Adam Wainwright, who's 42, seems old in a baseball sense, but is still very young in his life. And it's always kind of interesting when somebody your age, you follow their whole career and then they retire and you realize that person is the same age as you. Class of 2000, Adam Wainwright, 42 years old. He turned on August 30th. First round pick, as you know, of his, we'll call it hometown, Atlanta Braves, 29th overall back in the year 2000. Then he gets traded over to the Cardinals. And look, we're going to go through all the numbers and all that, and I will in a second. So Adam Wainwright, clearly a first ballot Cardinals Hall of Famer, will not be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But, if some of those injuries didn't happen, Wayno certainly would have been knocking on the door to be a Baseball Hall of Famer in Cooperstown. If he could have got up to, let's say, 230 wins and stacked on 2 or 3 more seasons, but somebody who's going to be remembered as a really, really great Cardinal and a guy who's kind of just below that Baseball Hall of Fame status right there. Great postseason pitcher. I think that's something maybe, I don't want to say we forget about it because you got to go back to 2006, especially when he was a closer. And I'll go through these numbers, but man, really good playoff pitcher as well. For me, I moved to St. Louis in 2008. So I feel like I got to cover almost all of Wayno's major league career. Even 2006, I was working in Michigan at the time. I remember being in the newsroom in Lansing, Michigan, and watching the strikeout of Carlos Beltran. And then because we covered the Tigers a little bit, I was at game 2 of that World Series in 2006 in Detroit. That was the Kenny Rogers scuff game. So obviously remember Adam Wainwright from that series and all the saves from that postseason run. Then he becomes a really, really good starting pitcher and just covering the team. And I feel like I really covered the Cardinals. I started in 2008, but towards the end of my Fox 2 career, I was more of an anchor. So I wasn't, unfortunately, at the park as much. But I want to say, let's say starting in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 was really around the team a lot. I was really around the team a lot up until COVID. And then once COVID hit, you didn't have the same access. And then I left TV a couple years ago. But I would say from 11 till about COVID, I was around the ballpark a lot. And not saying I'm friends with Adam Wainwright or anything like that, but he was a guy that was always great to work with. He was very funny, still is. He's not dead. He's not dead, people. Still is very funny. Going to be a great broadcaster. But one of those guys that liked to have fun with his teammates and with the media. And that's always great to have from somebody who's also a big-time player. You can have the funny guy in the team, but if your funny guy likes to interact with the media and he's also really good, that's what you have in Adam Wainwright. I think he's going to be a really good broadcaster. I don't think he's going to broadcast year-round. He has the country music aspirations. By the way, I thought his concert was pretty good. I had low expectations for that concert. I thought it was pretty dang good. Pretty cool moment. But I think he's going to be a guy who he's going to do some playoff games here and there. You saw that on Fox Sports or FS1 the last couple of years. I'm sure he's going to be in the rotation for Bally Sports Midwest or whoever's broadcasting the Cardinals in future years. On the TV side, maybe do a little radio. Adam Wainwright is just made for media and broadcasting. But just always a fun guy to be around. All those years, there were so many of those post-game celebrations, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 again. And he was the guy that would always in the media scrums, in those celebrations, he would spray you with the champagne. He was going to dump ice down your shirt. I remember all that. And just having fun with the media during those fun times. And we're going to get to all the baseball stuff. I also just think Adam Wainwright, I always say top 5 human being. He really is. When you realize what that dude does for others, and I've covered a bunch of his charity events over the years. If you go back to when he started the whole fantasy football league, I remember covering those at Busch Stadium, and he'd have celebrities there, all that money going to charity. I remember covering an event of his at Dave & Buster's. It was a fundraiser. And what is it? It's Big League Impact. And just talking about what they do. They showed a video where they're going to these impoverished third world nations or whatever we're supposed to call them these days. I'm sure that's not the appropriate term. But underdeveloped countries, building hospitals, building wells. I remember he had an initiative where he was fighting human trafficking in the United States in St. Louis. And I'm sure he's still doing all these things, but I'm just trying to think back to when I covered some of these specific events, more like, 7 years ago. Just a really, really good dude, a really high quality person, Adam Wainwright. And then baseball pitcher. I mean, just an absolute competitor. Let's get into some of the numbers here. Now, obviously this year did not go well at all for Waino. 5-11, 7.40 ERA in 101 innings. Did get to 200 wins, as you all know, so landed perfectly on that 200 wins, 128 losses for his career. So a .610 win percentage with a career ERA of 3.53 in 2,668 in a third innings pitched, 2,202 strikeouts for his career. I think this is interesting. I always like to look at FIP. His FIP lands at 3.54 for his career. His ERA, 3.53. Almost identical right there. Led the league in wins a couple years with 19. Had a 20-win season in 2014. We're talking 3-time All-Star. Led the league in games started a couple years with 34 starts back in 2009, 2013. Led the league in complete games with 5 in 2013. Led the league in shutouts with 2 in 2013 and 3 in 2014. Led the league in innings with 233 in 2009, with 241 and 2/3 innings pitched in 2013. Led the league in batters faced a couple of those years. Also hits and earned runs one of those years too. But we're trying to focus on the positive here, man. This is celebrating Waino's 18 seasons in the big leagues with the Cardinals, starting in 2005 when he got the cup of coffee and ending this year in 2023. Let's look at some of the milestones and the awards. I want to talk about his postseason, obviously, as well. But 3 All-Star games, 2020 Roberto Clemente Award winner, 2 Gold Glove awards, a Silver Slugger, which he cherishes from 2017. Career wins above replacement, 44.9 wins above replacement. I was talking about Hall of Fame earlier, which again, he's going to be a Cardinals Hall of Famer. He's not going to be a Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Famer. But when you look at Hall of Fame standards on Baseball Reference, so if the average Hall of Famer is a 50 for Hall of Fame standards, Baseball Reference has Adam Wainwright as a 39. So you're talking, 78% of that Hall of Fame standard, which I think makes sense. Hall of Fame monitor, which is different for pitching, is an 86. Likely Hall of Famer is 100 on this scale. So again, you're talking about 86% of what it takes to be a Hall of Famer. Gray ink, I know this is getting in the weeds here, but gray ink pitching, he's 147. Average Hall of Famer is 185. And black ink pitching, average Hall of Famer is 40. Adam Wainwright was a 24. So basically, if you look at, those 4 markers right there, He's a guy who's really, really good, but not a Hall of Famer. Whichever way you want to look at the percentages there, somewhere between 80 and 86% of what it takes to be a baseball Hall of Famer. And I think that's pretty fair. These are just different standards, but I think that's pretty fair for Adam Wainwright. I did think this was cool. When you look at the similarity scores on Baseball Reference, let's go similar pitchers through age 40. Bartolo Colon, David Cohn, some of the names, David Wells, Orel Hershiser, Kevin Brown, Jamie Moyer, so guys that pitched deep into their careers. And look at some of the early similarities by age for Adam Wainwright. Orel Hershiser as a 28-year-old. Jordan Zimmerman. Let's see. You had Orel Hershiser again as a 31-year-old. Steven Strasburg, Johnny Cueto, David Price, Ron Guidry, some really good pitchers there. And then when you go similar pitchers, this is all on Baseball Reference. I think this is kind of interesting. Similar pitchers to Adam Wainwright: Roy Halladay, Dwight Gooden, Jimmy Key, John Lester. I looked at this the other day. John Lester and Adam Wainwright's career numbers are super similar. Dazzy Vance, David Cohn, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer is going to be a Hall of Famer, and Tim Hudson. So when you look at those guys that are similarity scores to Adam Wainwright, that's a lot of really good pitchers. Couple Hall of Famers in Roy Halladay, Dazzy Vance. I don't remember Dazzy Vance. Max Scherzer is going to be a Hall of Famer, but then some really good pitchers that didn't make the Hall of Fame, where I think Waino lands. Tim Hudson, David Cohn, John Lester, Jimmy Key, Dwight Gooden. Dwight Gooden was different because he would have been a Hall of Famer, then obviously had all the off-the-field issues. But I feel like Adam Wainwright makes a lot of sense when I throw those names in the bucket of Tim Hudson, David Cohn, John Lester, Jimmy Key, etc. Just because we're here. How about making that paper? Adam Wainwright, $184 million, according to Baseball Reference. Good for him. Had some years where he made $19.5 million going back to 2014, made $17.5 million these last couple years. So he should be fine. $184 million. And then again, this is money. This guy's not going to waste that money. And he's going to put it all back into the community and doing all the great things he does charity-wise. Adam Wainwright has always been so great in that aspect. Let's go to postseason. Oh, by the way, before we do that though, let's go batting, because Adam Wainwright loved to hit. So hitting for his career, 192 batting average, 220 on base, 290 slug, 10 career home runs, 75 career RBI for Adam Wainwright. And that's pretty good for a pitcher. He could swing it. If you're around 200 or so for a pitcher, that's pretty good. I'm sure he would think, hey, if I started as a position player and played some outfield or whatever, I could have been a good major league hitter. I'm sure he thinks that. Who knows? Let's go postseason pitching, because this is where Waino came on the scene. And I think sometimes we forget how great he was, especially in 2006. So that's his age 24 season. We're talking an ERA of 0 through that whole run. He pitched 3 games in every series. 3 games in the DS versus the Padres, 3 games in the CS versus the Mets, 3 games in the World Series versus Detroit. So we're talking, 9 2/3 innings pitched in that World Series run, 4 saves in the postseason, and he had 15 strikeouts in that 9 2/3 innings pitched. So he was dang good. And then just going down through the playoffs, so you forget that 2009, when they lose to the Dodgers, he had a really good outing where he went 8 innings, allowed 1 earned run with 7 strikeouts. So you had, let's go to 2012, 2013. 2013, as they make it to the World Series, Waino was really good in the DS, 1.13 ERA. Very good in the CS, 2.57. World Series in 2 games, 4.50 ERA. So he was okay there in that World Series. And we're talking 2014, got roughed up against the Dodgers in the DS, but was very good against the Giants in 2 games. 2015 against the Cubs, had a really good start there. Only 5 1/3 innings pitched, but only allowed 1 run. And then I know I'm kind of rambling here, but it's worth it to go through all these. So 2019 against Atlanta, had a really good game, 7 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts against the Braves as they made it to the NLCS. And then against Washington was good there too. A 3 ERA, 11 strikeouts in 9 innings against the Nationals. Cardinals obviously got swept. Nationals won the World Series that year. Then Waino was good in that wild card series with a weird COVID year. It was solid. He was solid there. I shouldn't have said good. Only went 3 1/3 in that game against the Padres, but it was the wild card game the following year, 2021, ended up being his last postseason appearance against the Dodgers in that 1-game playoff. He goes 5 1/3 innings and strikes out 5 guys in that epic game. Obviously, that ended with the Chris Taylor home run. But for his career in the playoffs, a 4-5 win-loss record, but a 2.83 career postseason ERA in 29 games in 16 starts, and had 123 strikeouts in 114 1/3 innings pitched. And when you kind of put all the numbers across the board, he was good in every series. 3.12 ERA in wild card series, 2.89 in division series, 2.39 in NLCS, and a 3.60 ERA in the World Series. Adam Wainwright was a really, really, really good postseason pitcher. So what do you guys think? I want to get your comments as well. Please comment, like, subscribe. Just, what's your lasting memories of Adam Wainwright on the field, off the field? What did you think of the concert? What did you think of this season? Obviously, we talked about this a lot. And here we're celebrating Waino, but this was a really awkward season for the Cardinals, and it was a very awkward chase for Waino when he was really struggling to get to 200. But in the end, you're glad he got it. And I've said this a million times. After the trade deadline, watching Adam Wainwright, for better or for worse, chase 200, to me was really the only interesting reasons to watch the Cardinals for the last 2 months. And you could talk about wanting to see what Mason Wynn can do and all that, but the Adam Wainwright starts were must-watch TV at the end there. And then he got the 200, and I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to check out until the final series where they honored Adam Wainwright over the weekend here, which was pretty cool to see. So again, let me know what you guys think. Just in the replies, tell me what Adam Wainwright meant to you for his career. Just one of those all-time great Cardinals, and also the era of Cardinals baseball with him, with Albert, with Yachty. Those three are always intertwined. And Adam Wainwright also came up. You had different kind of, I don't want to say eras, but you had different Cardinals teams that he was a part of. So if you look at that 04 team, which Waino wasn't on, but obviously if you kind of bundle that one together with 06, so that team, Waino's a huge part of the 06 World Series run, obviously. And then for a while there, you had the transition into I'll call it, the 2011 team was different because, that was Carp and Albert. But I also kind of put 2011 with the 12, 13, 14, 15 group because that team was so good. And they made it to 2 World Series and won 1 and made it to what? NLCSs in 11, 12, 13, 14, had the 100-win season where they lost to the Cubs in 15. So Waino, a huge part of the 06 bunch. They win the World Series. Then he's part of the bunch from 11 to 15 that is really, really good, even though he was hurt when they won it in 2011. He's such a huge part of those teams, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then you have the down years for the Cardinals. You have the end of Matheny, the beginning of Schilt, and then you have another series of playoff runs that weren't as successful, but still we're talking about getting to the playoffs in 2019, you get to the NLCS, 2020, the weird COVID year, you play the Padres, 2021, you play the Dodgers, 2022, Waino didn't pitch in that playoff series versus the Phillies. What I'm trying to say is he was a part of kind of different iterations of the Cardinals. You can go back to the 04 to 06 group. He's a huge part of that. He was a key part of 11 to 15. He's their leader. He's their ace for that set of years. That's the Matt Holliday group. And then you can got to go to this next group, which you transition from the Holliday years. Waino's still there. And then you have the Goldschmidt, Arenado, Cardinals here of the last 5 years or so. So Waino been here so long, close to 2 decades here, and been a part of a lot of different winning Cardinal teams. So, all right, I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on there. I didn't make any notes, so if I missed anything, I'm sorry. But Adam Wainwright, being here so long, I felt like he deserved a video on camera, especially because also I was not on the radio for the first hour and a half today, so I kind of missed the Waino discussion. I had some kid stuff to take care of. And I didn't really watch a lot of the baseball over the weekend. I did watch the concert because I had a buddy who shot it for me, and we put it on the YouTube channel here, and you guys watched a lot of those songs. And then for the ceremony Sunday, I saw some of it, but I was at the NHRA drag racing over there at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois, doing stuff for the Kenny Wallace YouTube channel, which, by the way, is blowing up. If you haven't subscribed to that one, please do so. Kenny Wallace on YouTube. We're pushing about 80,000 subscribers there. All right. I think that's all I wanted to say. Adam Wainwright, an old guy like me, my age-ish, class of 2000. Got to give him a shout out for that. Great career, great dude, fun guy. We'll see what happens with his country music career. You're going to see him broadcasting Cardinals games, national games, and all that. Waino's a guy who he knows where the camera is. Always likes to have fun. You're going to see a lot more of Adam Wainwright from ages 40 to 80 as he's doing all kinds of things with baseball, broadcasting, charitable efforts, country music, who knows what else. All right, guys, I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. And again, in the comments, let me know, what did Adam Wainwright mean to you as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals? And let's keep it positive, okay? We had the whole year to bag on the Cardinals being bad and Waino being not very good this year. I got a fly around me. All right, we did that. But he got his 200. Now we're celebrating his legacy. But also, I understand if you want to talk about how this last year was odd. It was. You can't deny that. But in the end, Adam Wainwright, a great, great St. Louis Cardinal. Cardinals Hall of Famer. And it was a pleasure covering him. It was a pleasure to be a media member down there and watch some great baseball for many, 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 many years. And hopefully Adam Wainwright is right when he says next year will be championship 12 for the Cardinals. They got a lot of work to do if that's going to happen. They better pick up about 6 pitchers if that's going to come true. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later. Uncle Charlie, Adam Wainwright, thank you for everything. You've been awesome. And thanks for watching, guys. See ya.